Hello and welcome to the Beth of Fresh Air, Friday, July 3rd, 2026. We just had our Canada with a K day. I tried to avoid it like the plague. So welcome. I'm so glad to be here today. I was actually really excited about the show, especially because I've got Dagmar Stansova on again, and I'm going to bring her on right now. Really excited about the show, especially because, whoops, that was you. Okay. Sounds like, can you hear me, Dagmar?
Yes, but I had an echo, so I had to address it. Now I'm trying to get back on the stream. Okay, I'm here.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, it's if you open YouTube, it'll be playing at the same time.
Yeah.
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 And welcome to Miss Jackie K. Thank you for coming. Much appreciated. Alicia was here and left some love behind. Miss Quietly Content Bears in the chat. Yay. So great. Yeah, what an interesting topic and what perfect timing, I have to say, because if this stream was 3 or 4 days ago, I was in nickel hell. And it is I can't say the word formidable enough. I'll try not to keep saying it over and over in this stream, but when you get into the nickel detox, the thick of it, then wow, it not only messes with your body, of course, but there's something unique. And this was something I was going to ask you. I don't know if you want to just dive right in and start, or if there's anything we need to just chat about. Maybe I will say a couple of things. For example, I have an interview coming up Monday. It's going to be a King Hero interview with the man known as Ben from Cambridge. And I have a client who's in Cambridge and made friends with Ben. Well, Ben is going around cutting the wires of the 5G installations that they have on their, it's on their traffic lights. And they're definitely weapons. And he's got all the proof of this. And he has been arrested, and they can't charge him right now because they know that if he wants to go to court. He's not trying to stay out of the system. Now he's trying to get into the system. And they know that if they charge him, and he goes to court, then it's going to be on the record what kind of weapons these are. Yeah. So just a regular guy that found purpose in doing this, vigilante kind of move, if you want to call it that, in a good way. Vigilante sometimes has a negative connotation, but that means King Hero to me.
All I will say is bless his testicles.
Yes, well, that's why my client said, I think you got a King Hero on the table here. Let's get him on. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then I had to cancel because of the nickel detox. I had to cancel Will Keller, another amazing freedom fighter out in the community. So he's going to be coming on Tuesday. So we got a double header of both Monday and Tuesday King Hero interviews. Plus Beth of Fresh Air will also be back on Friday as usual. Let's see if we need denickeled 3 or not. When I started to write up our interview or our show yesterday, I thought, I want to go and count how many hours has Garrett been talking about nickel on his live streams. And I did not expect it, but if you read the show notes, you know that it's more than 34.
Yeah. And it's not done yet, I'm sure.
And it's not done.
It's more. That's research, and that's, not sitting on your laurels or whatever, that, just like going, okay, now we know, he just keeps going and going. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so tempting. I was like that in my natural health kind of way of being, that I would just grab a tidbit from somewhere. I wouldn't go deep into researching it. I would just go and apply the tidbit, like, oh, drink grass juice, and like, okay, I'm on it. I'm drinking grass juice until I barf. And then it's like, oh, maybe I'll back off the grass. And stuff like that, so this has really been an opportunity for me to grow up in that research world. I'm still not perfect at it. I'm taking some Pectazole, and I haven't intensely researched it myself. It was just like they said it was good. And then I took it, and I took too much. And that's part of, I think, why I ended up in this trouble that I'd been in for the last, I don't know, it was a good 10 days, 2 weeks of what's been now termed the nickel suck. I also coined the frame, the and there's a fart in the background. I can hear that. We are getting to that. We're definitely going to get to that.
Well, I can't wait.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so funny. And yeah, so what was I saying? I got
Well,
distracted.
you're talking. Well, I just maybe you'll catch up when I share what I just wanted when you said that this has helped you grow up, and I couldn't agree more, because in a way I did the same thing. Like I would just go by what the other person said, and the one thing that Garrett has empowered me is to just really do my freaking homework, because he gives you the opportunity and you can have your own opinion on whatever papers he brings up, but he never just talks about stuff without having something that you could, look at. And it's really put me back into that role of like a citizen scientist. Even though I was pre-med and I did take all kind organic and inorganic chemistry and all that. So, but now I see it's useful, that I'm able to, they can't just talk over me, when I'm reading those papers. And it is like growing up, because I'm not waiting for somebody to, or trusting, like, oh, he seems like a trustworthy person.
Oh,
uh,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's so beyond that. Back to the, the guru culture that we've come from, where it's like, oh, is somebody smarter than me gonna save me and come and tell me what to do, and I just have to follow them. I don't have to think. That's what the pandemic, the gift of the pandemic made me start thinking again and
mhm.
reasoning and researching more. And it still took years before we came across Garrett's work and this next level. It no offense to anybody, but it kind of puts a lot of people in a different category for me, where if there aren't receipts, if there isn't a trail to follow, if it's not verifiable by me, then how can you make such bold claims?
Yeah, I mean it's a big mess out there, and it's a big the rabbit hole is deep, like you said in the in your whatever you sent out, uh, because you could verify pretty much anything in this world, but because AI or the logarithms will kind of play along with what's important to you, but when you combine that with your experience and with your own logical reasoning, then you're dealing with something. I'm not ever going to say that I know. I'm just a child learning nonstop, but I am applying it, and I'm having experiences, and most of them have been amazing. And it just feels so good to be like, to not be frightened. This
Mhm.
whole denickeling thing, that's one of the things that I notice is to that now I understand the difference between symptoms that come up from a poisoning and then symptoms that come up as the poison is coming out. The difference between, that could be the exact same symptoms, but that's why, I just the thought of like, yeah, I celebrate nickel farting because now, okay, tell me if you can hear this. Wait.
Okay, that's your last time. That's the last time.
Oh, did you hear that? No, that
I
wasn't
did
me.
hear that.
I have a special I have a special toy.
There
I
you go.
carry always in my bag in case people get too serious. It's always in my bag, and I don't know why farting just makes me laugh. Like no matter if I could be in tears or totally depressed, if you walked up to me, Beth, and you just you made a sound like that, I would totally like just crack up, and perhaps it's a sign of immaturity. But anyway, what I'm saying is that it's not like I never farted before. I have, but I had no idea what was going on, or I had all these concepts of that, that it has to do with, oh, I don't have enough of this and I need to take this. And, I have IBS, I have SIBO, I have a bacterial overgrowth, but now this is different. I can celebrate this because I know it's not because of what I'm inputting. It's because of what's coming out of my deep tissues, especially in your intestines, which is where nickel likes to hang out, right? in your skin and your inner skin, which is your digestive system. So it's a different kind of celebration.
Indeed. Could I get you to clarify? So when you're having symptoms, like you said, there's the symptoms of having poisoned yourself, intoxing. Some people are calling it that you got nickled.
Mhm.
And then there's the symptoms of your body letting go of nickel, which is actually getting nickled. It's a poison going in, it's the poison coming out. And
Mhm.
so how do you know the difference?
Um, That's an interesting question. I guess for me, the main difference is my state of mind, like I was saying, because I'm not mystified anymore. And I understand that when we take a poison and it doesn't magically disappear in our body and become transmuted because we're so enlightened, how some people say, I can transmute anything out, I can eat whatever I want. Um, I think and also because it doesn't last. Like in the past, it would just be chronic, just kept going. And I try this, I'd eat that, or I, mostly add some other supplement. Um, and it would just kind of kept going and transforming. And it would take sometimes weeks and weeks. Like when like something, and it would be painful. Whereas with this, now I know exactly what to do. And I know that what's going on, so I can relax into it. And the conversation I'm having with my body is like, oh, wow, you're doing something amazing. And I'm here for you, And also I tell, like, let's not get too crazy about, how fast this comes out. And we have the binders. So I know if I take a binder, even if it's in like 2 a.m., right? And suddenly I'm going like last night was one of those moments. I felt my heart rate go up and I'm like, oh, heart rate's going up. So that means body's trying to speed everything up because it wants to detoxify something, which means something dumped. And I felt temperature rising too. Like, oh, we got a lot of bile in the blood and the bile got nickel in it, right? So I just jumped and took my, my charcoal, my zeolite, and with some magnesium to make sure that it never constipates you. and within, and I drink it within an hour, I'm much better. And if I'm not, then I'll do it again. So but I've done this so many times, over and over and over again, that it's clear to me that I'm now seeing it, something, that actually it's just a matter of capturing when the dump happens. It happens. Sometimes you don't know why. It may just be an emotional thing where you suddenly relax or your fascia relaxes, or it could be anything. I don't know. I just trust that the wisdom of my body knows what it's doing. And so I guess that would be the main. And also the thought that I always have is, this too shall pass, pun intended. That this is a different kind of, of like, oh, I just farted, like, okay, but I know that this is just, or if I burped, which in the past I would have constant belching, and I thought, well, that's normal. Doesn't everybody do that all the time? So now it's just like, oh, this is a sudden dump that's coming, and I can make myself more comfortable and not be freaked out by the baritone sounds that are coming from my lower extremities for a moment.
There you go. There you go. One other thing I was going to throw in there is that when you have applied the knowledge of it and you understand, what actually, we're going to talk about this in detail. We don't have to go into it this second, but that, more, much more scientifically, how much nickel you're actually taking in. And so if you're getting nickel symptoms, it can't be from that. And then, this was something that maybe was thought to be an exception to the rule that is in toxic bile paradigm, which is something, if you haven't looked into it, that's something that you'll want to look into and understand, because it is definitely a paradigm shift in healing. And I preempted that so much, I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, that when you're this basic foundation, when you're taking in less poison, then your body has room to start detoxing it. As long as you've got too much poison, then all your body can do is store and put, and that's when you gain weight or get the fatty liver, or it starts busting out of the skin. I actually, for the first time in my entire life, I have eczema. I never in my life have done it. Now I've got 3 patches of eczema. So this is the nickel coming out.
Yeah, so I'm such a stickler. All my friends hate me for this because I try to get away from labeling anything, because we have to, I guess, to communicate. But like I've also been having expressions in my skin, which to me just means that this is what's being worked on right now. That it's not like, oh, I have something that is now mine. It's just I'm going through a phase. I mean, I think that this whole denickeling thing is not for the faint of heart. That you have to be an adventurer who is already like excited about a new journey and who's not afraid of how our body is working very hard to continually keep itself clean, or remove the poison, so to speak.
Exactly. When I say eczema, by the way, it's not with any belief in it. But it is an expression that's recognizable. There are different kinds of skin eruptions. I know that, like, I've had shingles. I know what that's like coming out of my skin. I've had pimples. I know what that's like. And this, I've never in my life had it. I've seen it on other people. I've seen it on my son. And that's to me fascinating that it's coming out. It looks like I've been burned, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did I burn myself? What the heck is that? And this has a streak, like it's gone in a line down that seems to be following a vein, right? So are there veins that are starting to let go? I've got another. I shouldn't give you all my everything, but this is where I received an IV for so many poison drugs when I was doing chemotherapy, and this little thing formed on top of that, so it's strange because things are actually that's where there's still something we don't understand. Like why would something come out as more of an eczema expression or more of a pimple or something? That they are really unique in their expression. So who knows? And the beauty is we actually don't need to figure it out.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The beauty,
Yeah.
but the beauty also is the attitude that you just expressed, which is, I know that every time you say something, you don't have any, belief attachments to it. But yeah.
No, it's fascinating, the whole thing. This was something I was going to throw in. I've been, we've been studying Gurdjieff, and I've been working with Micah Ellers. We do have a workshop series coming up. Super excited about that. I'll talk about it more towards the end. And one of the things I've learned from him is that there are 3 centers in the body. This won't be new to anybody. You've got the intellectual center, the emotional center, and what Gurdjieff calls the instinctive or moving center, which is why your lungs breathe even though you didn't think about it, your heart beats, your metabolism happens, the brain fires, all of those kind of things. And he says that a major part of human beings' problem, he calls us three-brained beings, that one of the reasons for the excess amount of suffering is because those centers mix. And so, we get, say, like this comes up, and if I had a thought like, oh my God, that must mean I'm really sick and toxic and I need to worry, and what should I grab and put in my body to get rid of it? But in essence, the instinctive center is working perfectly. It's doing exactly what it needs to do. It doesn't need my fear. It doesn't need my worry. It doesn't need me to figure it out from a fear place. And when you start extricating, like just leaving the body to do what it does. And, like I was even, some people would say, talk to their body and, say, oh, you're okay. You're going to be fine. I'm here. I'm going to, and to me, it's even like, I would rather talk to the inner programming. The body doesn't need my advice. That's like interloping between the centers. Right. So that's something I'm playing with lately. I was going to ask you a question just because it came up in a conversation recently, and I couldn't answer it very well. And you're often already on top of these things. So in the natural health world, they talk about the Herxheimer's reaction,
Mm-hmm.
that when you start to detox and you get sick, and then they'll call that good, like, oh, good, you're getting a Herx reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Would you still adhere to that, or is that a wrong
You know,
thing?
it's all like the state of mind that you're coming from around that. You know, I think in that world, it just feels like it's an explanation for something rather than a alignment and confirmation of what you were just describing so beautifully. That the body doesn't need our help. And then it just sounds like to me like an intellectual thing of like, oh well, that's what's happening to you, because I have no clue what it could be, but that's what's happening. That's why, you know, there isn't the not enough dots are connected in there for me, because I've been part of that world, and I would just be like, okay, I guess that's what I'm having. You know, and then what? You know, I'm not aligned with, first of all, like I was still believing that, you know, that we have what's called, you know, the immune system and all of that. I don't believe that anymore. I feel like we have a majorly brilliant cleanup crew. But you know, I don't feel that there's any like need to kill the enemy kind of a mentality going on in my body, that it's not designed that way, that it's preserving itself and surviving and doing everything to it's not attacking itself. You
It's
know,
trying to die slowly.
yeah, we want to die slowly, as Garrett said, not fast.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, and I look at animals that all make sense to me, you know, and I look at my body as like, I call it like the divine animal in me. It
Mhm.
is it's got a whole, you know, it's on a good track.
Indeed it
Till
is.
the end.
Yeah, that's really good. Thank you for that. And there's one more thing that always felt weird to me is that people would glorify those Herxheimer's reaction, like, oh, it's so good that this is happening to me. And what that masks is the poison in, poison out.
Yes,
That
yes. And
right.
yeah. And a lot, because I was in the raw dairy world, the raw meat world, and they're really big on that. Especially the men, they get excited because men, you know, they love the challenge. They love the you know, like, oh, look at what's coming out of me now. You know, like, oh,
Right. Oh, proud of it.
yeah,
Exactly.
or even the David Wolf people who were just doing like, you know, they blend garlic and turmeric and you know, oregano, and then they drink it and be like, it burned my throat. I felt like I was going to die. You know, I'm detoxing, but they're not realizing that they're intoxing. Like that whole part of the intoxing part of the story, I just see so absent in both the, you know, the non-meat eaters and the the meat eaters. And there's something about, like, I think it has to do with where we are in the world, where people are just not having enough like engagement in life, you know, that they're not having enough of like, it's good to be, you know, the dopamine. There's no that, and which is what nickel also messes with. It completely
Mm.
drains the all your neurotransmitters, your happy hormones, you know, the motivational neurotransmitters, all of that stuff. So people love that, you know, like, I'm alive now, you know, like I'm jumping into this ice cold water. Ha!
Yeah,
Doesn't feel
exactly.
alive. It's the fight or flight system engaged. Yeah, because your senses are higher, you're hearing better, seeing better, because you're in fight or flight. You think you're going to die, so you're going to be pretty damn alert. And so it's just like, you know, doing cocaine. Not that I've ever done
Right.
it, but it's
Exactly.
the
It's just internal.
same, you know.
Yeah.
And I think you and Micah were talking about that in one of your talks about, you know, that opium can feel, you know, pretty comfortable. You know, it's like
Exactly.
so I'm really glad that we're having this talk, especially with, you know, that I can make, that I can, wait, I can't get it to make a fart when I want it to. Especially
There you go.
because it's not comfortable conversation, especially for women. What woman wants to, you know, even be associated with that word?
I know. I know. Exactly.
when you're denickeling, one of the things that I practice is I call it like a feminine practice, is to see if when that happens, when you're alone, hopefully, and if you can find a way to connect that that fart to your heart so that you're like farting from your heart. So it doesn't feel like, oh God, like try to make it something that you can actually feel and embrace as it's coming out, like let it gets connected, it's not just, oh, this thing, and I don't know, for me, that's just a fun practice. I mean,
Yeah,
it's making use of the situation.
exactly.
Practicing a little bit of feminine art.
Fun. So we're going to go much deeper into farting. And I wanted to just back up a little bit on the dopamine and adrenaline kind of thing. That's one of the big things that I help people to do, is to distinguish between the high energy, whether it's dopamine driven or just a high emotion or adrenaline itself, that a lot of people, is there anybody that can't relate to some kind of adrenal burnout? They realize like, oh my God, I was running on that spare tire, and the spare tire is actually gone now, and there's nothing there for me. And yeah, so it's very tricky, because you can depend on those internal drug experiences, which they are, right? It's just the same as taking drugs from the outside, putting yourself under is so much stress that you're always in that state, and you can't see. People can do incredible feats. Say like the marathon runner that broke their femur 5 miles in,
And kept
and they
running.
run the rest of the thing, right? And they'll probably be crippled for the rest of their life because of it, allowing that, mistaking the adrenaline for "I'm okay" kind of thing. There are times to run from tigers, but those marathon people, there's no tigers at all. So, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
and it's really, well, what is it that people get, after they run? They call it the something high. What's the
Runner's high.
runner's high? But the chemical that's released, I forget what the chemical name for it is,
Oh.
but it's like an anesthetic. Because
Mhm.
when you're in fight or flight, that's the idea, is that if you need to run from the tiger, you shouldn't feel the pain if your femur is broken, right?
That's
But
right.
it's an anesthetic, so people feel good when they, again, talking about the comfort, when all the discomfort is gone and the anesthetic kind of numbs you
Yeah.
physically.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I mean, the biggest pharmacy we have is in our own brain, and we can make all these chemicals. And so if people are like drug free, I don't do any drugs, but they are completely addicted to that fight or flight thing, which, I understand that, because if you're just living a normal life and you're not taking any chances, or not, risking, or not having fun or being adventurous, then you kind of like, some part of you needs that. So you have to create it, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
better than being, heroin addict, but, anyway.
Yeah, and then that we've been severely indoctrinated that the aim is to feel good. Now, I'm not diminishing the importance and the joy of feeling good, because I know when I turned the corner the night before last, and I went from like just a total nickel suck for days and days and days in a row, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, there I am. And even late into the night, when it would have been logical that I should be tired and fatigued, and I wasn't, and had an energizing sleep, which is so completely different than the exhausting sleep that can happen. And but so that's all good. But when the aim is to feel good, that's when you're going to be tricked by the dopamine, be tricked by the adrenaline. You're going to turn to some painkiller or other eventually, sooner or later. And you just do whatever at all cost to feel good, and won't allow yourself to go through those periods of suck.
Yeah, no, that's, I mean, we're kind of going a slightly different topic, but still, it is part of it, this whole nickel thing, how do, it, all of this whole the low toxin diet just brings up those very things about like how attached we are, and the whole culture is pushing like the pain-free, feel good. And I don't know anything that was ever worth anything in my life that didn't have some part of a struggle, leading up to it, and confronting or facing some illusion or some deep, that to look at was painful.
Exactly.
Just even looking at it or even acknowledging, any level of acceptance, it's painful, but on the other end is more just being more present, more myself. But,
That's it.
yeah. So
100%. Yeah, nicely said. I love that. I'm just going to say a few comments from Jackie. Said the oxalate dumping on your arms is horrendous. Sorry to hear about that, but better out than in. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I also feel exactly better out than in. And she said the immune thing was made up regards to pushing jabs. Exactly. Yeah. And you're getting some laughs from Lisa. She also asked, is raw dairy more toxic? You haven't been able to give it up?
yeah, it's actually sometimes even more toxic than non-raw dairy, because it's
Why?
always full fat, you know.
Right, right. So, like, say, compared to a pasteurized milk that had some fat removed, is that what you're saying?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still better if it has fat removed. And it's very high in A. One other thing that Garrett has not talked about that I was curious what your thoughts were is that also a lot of like the alcohol, the beer, a lot of these things, they're now made in stainless steel. So when you put an acidic liquid like alcohol, let's say, into stainless steel, you're leaching out the nickel. So a lot of these hard liquors and wines are now made in stainless steel. They're high in nickel. And I was thinking, well, every time I've gone to the raw place to get my raw milk, they'd always be in a gigantic stainless steel, and they'd go in there hot. So I'm wondering if anybody's ever done any research or tested. I have to check and see what the level of nickel is in raw dairy or any dairy, because all dairy is now stored in stainless steel. It's all stainless steel. And I know that there's just changing out my cookware created a huge difference for a nickel dump for me, removing the because I used to even heat my water in my stainless steel, you know. Um,
Hmm.
so
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say about the milk that now I don't know if you have more details about this, but from what I'm starting to hear, it was confusing, right? When Garrett started talking about nickel and not talking about vitamin A anymore, and then even recommending while we're on low nickel diets some milk, because why? Milk is low nickel if it weren't processed in stain and stored in the stainless steel. It is a lower nickel food.
yes.
Yeah,
Now here's the thing. Nickel slows down the detox of vitamin A. There's research on that.
there you
So
go.
that's why we now I can do some smaller amounts of dairy because my nickel is lower. And so, that's why this is not for the faint of heart, and for people who don't like paradoxes, or who can't hold that things are like moving all the time, because they all these different heavy metals, they interact with each other, and they interact with histamines, with vitamin A, with ferritin, they affect each other. So that's the thing about I think that once you lower your nickel, you probably can do a little bit of any kind of milk, but I would choose to do one that if I'm going to do dairy, do ones that are higher in protein, like a piece of cheese or some low-fat cottage cheese. Yeah, that would be my thought on that.
Yeah, and Lisa, get under that cow with a plastic bucket or something like that. If you can, make sure, see if you could have milk that didn't go through stainless steel. There is like hypoallergenic metals that they've made for earrings and jewelry and that kind of stuff. I wonder if it's possible to produce the same kind of containers in hypoallergenic metals. I don't know if that's possible, but there's a cottage industry for somebody to start up. And I'll just look at a few more comments here. Artesia, nice to have you here. I'm glad you're here. And Miss Michelle is in the house. So great you're listening in. Yeah, it's one of our House of Free Will members. A bunch of us around here. Jackie K said 4 years dumping to date. Right. What a marathon. So that's the kind of spirit that you need to go into it with. There's people out there is like, oh, I just did a 10-day fast and it's so perfect. I'm healed now. It's like, no, it's not like that. Unfortunately, we all wish it was, that you could just do one cleanse and that's your yearly cleanse and that's all you need to do. So yeah. Good on you for your endurance there, Jackie.
It's a huge business, these cleanses. You have the parasite cleanse, then you have the liver, what do you call it, flush, or the gallbladder flush, or it's just like it's a business. You get your little packets by some chiropractor, well-meaning. I'm not saying any of these people are not well-intentioned, but it's a racket.
Exactly. Yeah. Really, really interesting. All right. So are you up for talking about binders? Because you've really dug in and learned a lot.
Yeah. Before we go into binders, though, I just want to bring up the whole thing of that with nickel, size matters, meaning that you have to be excreting more than you're intaking. So that's when you really start to feel it. That's why a lot of people are having these very strong reactions when they suddenly remove some of the nickel with their jewelry, or I took out the underwires and all my bras, and wow, I had a nickel dump the next day, going like, what could that be? That just through the sweat, through the cloth, So, but I don't go, my attitude is not like, oh my God, I've been nickeling myself. I just go, oh, that's interesting. Like curious, like you were expressing too. It's just a genuine curiosity, because we're all going to die. But, in the process, we can, be part of the journey of slowing it down and staying as long as possible, so we can, enliven and be more present and remember who we are, which is what you and Micah have been so beautifully doing. So okay, go ahead. So we can talk about binders now.
Yeah, no, that's beautifully said. I love what you're talking about there. And so binders are something that people have made a lot of use of in the course of probably Jackie K, in 4 years. You've taken a lot of binders. There's a number of them. The binder, for anybody that doesn't know that term that we're using, is it literally going to grab on to toxic substances and take it out of the body safely. As soon as it grabs on, that toxin is bound to it. It can't now, it's not a free toxin to get through your system and your gut lining, in your bloodstream, in your brain, and all of that kind of thing. So the binders are super good. And there's, like with nickel in particular, do you want to talk about which of the binders you found?
Yeah. I think zeolite is an incredible binder, as long as you get a washed zeolite. And there aren't that many. So that's, that's an important distinction, to not just get any old zeolite or liquid zeolite, any of that stuff. Get the real deal. And also the quantity of it that you take. What is that video that talks about that?
It's a kind of dosing paradox. I don't know the video.
Dosing paradox video that's out there. That helps people understand how zeolite works and how it kind of cages because of its charge. The zeolite has a very negative charge, whereas the poisons have a very positive charge. So it grabs them and it closes them. The only issue is that once, let's say, the zeolite grabs a lead in you, and then it's going along trying to come out through the intestines, but on its way it finds a mercury, it will let go of the lead and grab the mercury. So you have to have enough zeolite at the tail end that you take a big enough dose for all the ones that might be released, if you know, because you don't know. And zeolite will grab even histamines and heavy metals, of course, including nickel, but only in your intestines. So
Right.
zeolite and charcoal are, you know, charcoal has, you know, so much history. It's just absolutely the most remarkable thing we could be. But also with charcoal, now if you go on Amazon, maybe only 5%, 95% of it is coconut charcoal, which is like the shittiest charcoal you could get, because, you know, so many coconut crazes have come. So people have had all these coconut shells that are moldy and rotted, and they don't know what to do with them. So they made them into charcoal, and it sells really great because it sounds good. So if you get charcoal, just make sure that it is activated hardwood charcoal or bamboo, but don't get the coconut one. So those are two incredible binders that work well for the intestines. Now, this is the latest discovery that Garrett brought to us, which is, or actually we should say Kelsey went on this. She's like the queen of chemistry. It's pectosol, which is modified citrus pectin. And so this covers an aspect of the binders that we did not have before. We only had the zeolite and the charcoal, which work well in the intestines, but the modified citrus pectin goes into the bloodstream. So any people who have symptoms like headaches and things that tell you that it's, you know, that this is going into your bloodstream, it's really great for that. So it's a great dance to have those two products. And then there's Pectaclear, which has alginate in it, which is another binder. So you get the one that goes into the blood, and the alginate stays in the intestines and binds with the nickel and whatever else. The research on Pectosol, just the website, tons of research, though they don't know anything about the theory, the low poison theory. But it's just like when we spoke last week, you know, we're talking about those lollipops that I got that have
I want
pectin.
those.
Yeah,
I really want those.
they're great. But the fact is that they know that pectin absorbs nickel, but nobody says that anywhere. You just, oh, it helps your sore throat. Amazing. But they don't, you know, so people are just kind of like, I don't know, I guess it's kind of like a religion, like, oh, I'll read a Hail Mary and I'll feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just about. I tried really hard to get pectin pops, by the way, because I wanted that for my mouth and my throat, and you can't get them in Canada. I even tried some sites that were from the US, they won't ship to Canada. There's some kind of thing, the same way that Canada won't sell a white flour that's not fortified with poison. There's something like they want you to get the nickel. Or at least it's organized that way. Maybe not intentionally, but it's kind of making me wonder about that. So one thing about the binders that I've recently had a breakthrough, and you've said it and I've heard it before, it's about water.
Yes.
And so if you take binders and you don't take water, then first of all, the first thing is it doesn't work, right? Without water, the charcoal's not going to grab anything. It doesn't sit in the jar and then grab at the glass or grab at the, which is nice. And that's why the charcoal filters and stuff, it has to, I don't even know how good that works because it's just air. There's no liquid. Like, really, would it grab anything in the process?
Oh, you mean like a charcoal filter for water when you're putting it in?
No, not for water, but they do sell this, and I bought it because I've got a space that's got a newly renovated, new materials, and it's off gassing. And if I spend the night in there, like my eyes will water and everything. So I put charcoal bags everywhere. I got like the big collection of those, and it doesn't touch it. It's not changing.
Oh, really? Well, I think it has to be moving, because I put those charcoal things you stick on your fan.
Yeah.
And I, glued them to my fan. And when you turn on the fan, that seems to work really much better. But
Okay.
yeah, I don't know how it is if you just leave a, okay.
Yeah, yeah, there was a big claim that that worked so well, and it's like, nah, it's not working. At least on this, I don't know. Those chemicals might be just too intense. I don't know what it
Um,
is.
so just to add to the whole needing the water is such a powerful and important thing to remember, that even if you're not thirsty, but if you are doing zeolite and charcoal and pectosol, you need extra water, because that's how everything gets processed. You know, like people say, oh, processed food, processed food. Well, the way they process food is with water. So it's also the way we process our food, and we need the water to keep it moving and to get the bulk, happening there. I have a practice of when I drink water, and I measure it, because if I didn't, I would just be completely squirmy and sleazy, and not tell just be like, oh, I feel fine, I don't need any more. So it's like now such an embedded part of me that I know between each meal how much I drink, and I have to drink about, with doing all these binders, I now easily do at least 3.5 quarts to 4, in order for me to feel like I'm not dehydrating and like it's functioning properly. So I never
Exactly.
get constipated or anything like that. But if I used to only drink 2 quarts,
Right,
and
exactly. And
there's a
it's
great,
easy.
oh,
Mhm.
sorry, go.
It's easy to overhydrate and put stress on your kidneys. That was a revelation from Garrett at one point, because I was drinking too much water and I was exhausted. And that's
Mm.
a clear kidney sign. So when I backed off on my water, my energy went up. I'm like, oh, wow, neat. Because I was brainwashed by the natural health world that's like, drink more water, drink more water. You're all dehydrated. You don't know you're dehydrated. But that's a multi-nuanced thing too, right? It's not, you could have all that water and then your skin is still dry and your organs are, maybe you're still constipated and all of that kind of thing. So um, but yeah, this with binders is very important. I had an experience last night where I had been feeling great, and all of a sudden my gut kind of went into this twist, a little pain in my gut, and my first thought was water. So I, instead of taking any remedy, I just drank a whole glass of water and half a glass of kefir, and 30 minutes later the pain was gone, right? Like, just, so it was clearly my body needed more because I'd been taking more charcoal. And say I use in this pint of water, I use 1 teaspoon of charcoal. How much water would you feel like you need to process all of that charcoal?
I think that's a good amount, like a quart to a teaspoon. That's
Mhm.
what I've been doing. Now,
Okay.
did we talk about okay, wait, there was something that I'm thinking if we forgot. We're talking
There's the
about,
zeolite, the pectin. There's we could talk about soluble fiber, which my mind has changed a lot on now, in
mhm.
terms of, like, say in these last few days, and touch wood, I'm hoping this is a good trend, but one of the things, I'll back up. One of the symptoms of nickel detox is constipation. That
Mhm.
all of a sudden, you might have gone from really good moving bowels to not good moving bowels, and never mind the farts, we're still getting to that. And then so I always thought I was on a teeter-totter with dietary fiber, whether it came through my food or my supplements, and I'm like, oh, got too much fiber, I can't go to the bathroom. Oh, didn't get enough fiber, can't go to the bathroom. So I was always on this kind of
Mhm.
thing. And now, after like coming up for air and feeling better than I have in a really long time, maybe my whole life, and then the bowels are moving perfectly. And I don't have barely any fiber in my diet, with the
Mhm.
exception of some Pectaclear, and an apple is all I ate yesterday, and my bowels perfectly happy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Same here. And I think for me the key was the hydration. That when I hydrated sufficiently, and it's, you can always test yourself too. You can, like Garrett talks about in his hydration video, that you just you pee in a glass, not in the toilet, in a cup, in a see-through, in a glass, and you look and you go, look at the color, and you can have pH paper too. You can test, not that that's like totally precise, but you can just see, like, am I crazy acidic, or am I crazy alkaline, or am I just in the normal? And that's how you know if it's right for you. But I would say that I'd say most people are on the dehydrated side. Once in a while, you get some person who just goes overboard and they overhydrate. So your pee is really clear, and it's like, that's not good. You're diluting and getting rid of and overworking your kidneys and all that. But you're also overworking your kidneys when you're dehydrated too. So either one of those is, and also if you're eating tons of oxalates, oh my gosh, good luck. Then you're just begging for a kidney stone or something unpleasant in that area. There's a great book that I really appreciate. It's called "You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty." It's by Dr. Batman Jalil. Is a Iranian doctor who was in prison for 20 years, and he healed people, prisoners. He had no drugs, so he just used water, tap water, bad water, and he healed their headaches, their asthma, all kinds of joint issues. So it's many things, it's not just go on a low poison diet and don't drink a sip of water, or go on a low poison diet and never walk again, or never exercise, or just go on a diet and don't work on yourself. It's all going to be fine. I find
Exactly.
that it's so many layers. There's not the whole concept of the one problem, the one solution,
Yeah, it's just not
mentality
like that.
is what is so hard for people to get out of, because in this, what we're doing here, it is so multi-layered. And
Here's one more
Yeah.
layer I want to quickly add in about the hydration, is the relationship to the glutamates. And you've stressed this many times in our conversations, that we are typically starving for glutamates in our diets, and it's been the MSG has been demonized, so we definitely don't have that. And that's a huge factor in being properly hydrated, being able to make use, because like my pee is always the right color, but I'm still not hydrated, right? So that's what I've noticed also now over the last days. I started upping my use of MSG, and then everything is better. My skin is better, not nearly as dry as it had been, and stuff like that. So I just wanted to make sure and throw that in.
Yes, the MSG. Wow, that's just a total life changer, because I eat so few foods now. My diet is down to so few foods, but I so enjoy every one of them. And I consume about 2 teaspoons of MSG a day in my food, and I couldn't be happier. I'm like a dog, every day I look forward to the same meal with
Exactly.
occasionally some little variation, but I have no desire. It never feels like, oh my God, I'm so deprived. I never, ever feel deprived. I just feel like, wow, I'm living like a queen. I
Exactly.
feel like I'm nourishing the queen, like only the best for the queen.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Say the last thing about zeolite, just to stress what you already said. It's not just any zeolite, just because it uses the word zeolite. You have to really go and research, and sometimes contact the company and get them to show their process of cleaning that zeolite, so it's not coming with a bunch of junk that it is when it's found in nature, which is high value of a lot of people, that it's natural. It's like, in this case, you don't want it full of nature's junk. So to be careful about that and learn how to get enough of it, so you don't just set off the fireworks, like you said before. So I just wanted to stress that, not that that we're not the end of the line here for people's research, but to give you half a chance. And Quietly Content Bear said there are issues with milk from the stores being fortified, right?
Yeah.
Now, is that true? Is that true with organic milk? Are they forced to fortify that as well? Because I don't see that, although I'm not buying it anymore, so I don't know.
Like the raw organic, or just the regular organic? Because,
We can't do raw here. It's illegal. So it would, for us, it would be only the organic. And
I think
yes,
they do have to do the organic too. I think
you
so.
think they do. I want to look into that and see. Yeah. So raw skim milk may very well be the best if they can get someone to skim it for them. Yeah, it's seen as a waste product. What is it that's also the buttermilk is seen as a waste product or something? What was it?
The
Whey,
whey.
that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah, the garbage, and then they managed to sell that garbage to us in the form of protein powder and stuff like that. So yeah, it's tricky. Maya was asking about making nickel-free cheese, or is it nickel-free? It would be considered a low nickel. I think nothing's nickel-free. And there are ways to make cheese. That's not going to be my jam.
I've made it before.
Yeah,
I've made cottage cheese before, but at this point, I'm not eating large enough quantities of it. So
to manage it.
yeah,
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
to make it a thing. But you're making me think that we should create a recipe for the lollipops, the
Yes. Oh, please.
pectin
Please
lollipops.
do.
We should make them so we can you can make yours in Canada and not
Yes.
be illegal. And I'm
Oh,
sure that
exactly.
better than the ones from. But I love carrying them in my bag now. So when I go anywhere, and I, and I have any my friends, and I'll be, little girl, you need a lollipop? And they're always
Yeah.
happy. They're like, a lollipop, Dagmar? You're giving me a lollipop? You who eat so healthy?
Exactly. Yeah, we're going to be in the US in August, and I know I'm going to go with an empty suitcase so I can come home with crackers with unfortified organic wheat and pectin pops. If I'm very fortunate, I will find those, and maybe some macadamia nuts will be in California. And yeah, so I'm
Okay, I'll
going to
tell
bring
you.
all
But
that
still,
stuff.
I'm waiting to find out for sure because I have put a pause on those because of the nickel, and I don't
You
know.
know, and I finally stopped eating them just to see in case it was, adding, and I do feel better not having them. So I might be just yeah, like not coming back to those anytime really soon. Maybe eventually, but
Well, I look at it like this. I've eaten them before. I know the flavor. I know the sensation, and it's mostly the sensation of crunch, that I feel. But for that, I found those Firehawk crackers, which give you enough of that, if you need to crunch. And they're all white flour, organic, unfortified. So, I just look at it like, gosh, I've eaten so many amazing things my entire life. I've been to fine restaurants. I've been a gourmet kind of a chef, and I kind of feel like, well, so do I just keep repeating that over and over and over again, the same thing? Like, what's the deal? Like I like the idea of breaking my pattern,
me
uh,
too. Yeah,
even though
it's
I'm
liberating. Yeah, because there might be like, oh, I can't have a macadamia and a quarter cup of macadamias with my banana chocolate charcoal muffin at night, and when I stop having it, it's just like I'm just not having it, and
yeah.
it's no big deal, and like you say, actually liberating to see what the pleasures you can do without for the sake of feeling good, which is actually a real pleasure.
That's the real pleasure. Yeah, I
That's
know. It's not a hardship when when the payoff is so huge, that you just kind of go like yeah, I never feel deprived anymore. But it was a process, It took, it's not like something you do overnight, but just breaking your pattern and finding reward, the sense of reward and the sense of whatever it is that we have to have some feel good somewhere, so but you find it in other ways, that it's not just in the meal, that it's in what do I do after I've nourished myself, what am I nourishing myself for, what am I keeping alive, like what am I giving life to through this great way of feeding this temple, this body that's here, like what am I doing after I eat, or what was I doing right before, so that it becomes like a focus of something else, like, oh yeah, I'm here to create, to do something, to connect, whatever it is,
yeah.
to offer some part of, sharing life.
Exactly. And then the mixing of the centers too, because there's nothing wrong with enjoying your food. I enjoy my food. We're going to talk about this now. What is the low nickel diet? And I'm amazed how satisfying it can be to just have some turkey, some noodles, a little melted cheese, and I'm just yum, yum, yum. With the MSG, of course, it helps a lot.
Right, right, right.
But what we've done is emotionally mix with, again, what is an instinctual center kind of a thing. We got our emotions all over it. It was love and need and longing and wanting and like just all of this kind of garbage that really mucks with and can make people feel like they're going to die, which I did when I started the low A diet. I really had to mourn the loss of all of these great pleasures in my life, right? So now it's it's very liberating to see I can pick up a food, I can drop a food, I can, let's it's just like, yeah, I don't really need that. As long as I get the nourishment, which I've discovered when I'm nourished, and that is the best feeling of ever, where I forget about food. I'm not thinking what's for dessert. I'm not thinking about my next meal. I'm just
Mhm.
fully satiated.
Yeah, satiated. Wow, that's a powerful word. Yeah, what that and also for me, I know that when I was like a raw vegan and doing the other various things, when I was doing the raw dairy, raw meat, I was always uh, uh I was never finished, it always felt like something was, and I would eat small amounts because I
Mm.
thought, oh, this is very high fat, so I should only eat this, and it, now I eat substantial food and in way larger amounts, and I don't have any bloating because I would bloat from everything in the past. When I started eating healthy, when I started adding all these, health foods and juices and smoothies, which I think are really destroying everybody's digestive system. So it's just, yeah, it's a process.
Very good, very good. So, what are the low nickel foods? Like you said, we won't have to go for very long on this because the list is kind of short. Now, the list is shorter because we're coming from the low oxalate, the low
Copper, low copper,
copper. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
low
We're
low manganese,
sulfur, low.
low sulfur, right, right.
Yeah, yeah. So that's already eliminated quite a few foods along the way. So then you're like, okay, what's left in this low nickel diet? And so top of the list, muscle meat.
Muscle meat, yeah, turkey, chicken, beef,
Nice.
bison, um, not rabbit or duck because they're high in A.
Much higher
Uh,
fat. Yeah,
yeah, and pork, no pork. Yeah, no
right.
pork. No
Yeah,
pork,
yeah,
no fish. The only fish, if you really have to have fish, is like some kind of a white fish.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
So that's the top of the list, and that's it. And then you have your white rice, and if you
not
can't get
brown
the
rice.
lotus, not brown rice, because that's where all the nickel is, that's where all the oxalates are. Not whole anything, not whole wheat, not whole, yeah, nothing whole. It's all about being refined, which I love. It's like they tell you, don't do that. Same thing with the salt that we use. We use the most refined salt, not some $500 salt from, Mexico or some, or Hawaii, not the pink, not the gray, no rust in our salt. We just want sodium chloride, NaCl. But naturally processed, naturally refined. And that's what we use, the Jacobson salt or the Malden salt. Both of those are naturally refined. And then we have white rice. And if you can't get Lotus Foods, Lotus Farms, is it Lotus Farms or Lotus Foods?
Something like that. I just
Yeah.
know, yeah.
In the US, you can't get it in Europe apparently, but it's theirs is like the most legitimately low arsenic rice. So, or you can soak it in charcoal. What was I going to say about the rice? Oh, well, just to kind of like, I keep wanting to drive this concept home to myself too, but to everyone that I love, is that plants, they're cleaning the soil, and every plant favors different parts of the soil. Like the rice favors the arsenic, and most of the vegetables, they love copper, they love nickel. And as we found out from one of Garrett's 34 hours videos, is that the fertilizer, even organic food, the fertilizer has nickel in it, as does glyphosate. So plants love these poisons. They're cleaning it out, and then animals eat the poisoned plants, but the animals clean out the poisons through their liver, and then they have whatever issues, or their longevity is affected by that. But we can eat their muscle meat, not their organs or their fats, but we eat their muscle meat. So really, they are the cleanest food that we can eat.
Exactly. Yeah, the muscle tissue literally rejects the metals. It won't store toxins because movement, back to the instinctual or moving center, requires, that we might have to move potentially all the time, right? That's a more natural state for human beings rather than the sedentary lifestyles that many people got used to. We need to move for our survival. So, yeah. And I know natural grocers are all about the oh, they do sell a bulk refined salt? That's amazing. Okay, good. We don't have that here, but that's good. They're not onto it. Like I can't go to my natural health food store and buy a good salt. They're all about the pink salt and the gray salt. Like
where is this person living?
Whereabouts are you, Lisa? If you want to let us know.
Yeah.
And then refined sea salt. That's good.
Yeah, that's impressive. I mean, I wonder if it's naturally refined or chemically refined. That's the thing.
That's possibly a different thing.
The Jacobson's, I know, is naturally refined, but still, you can't, like Garrett says, I mean, I'm with him, you can't go crazy with this. You do what works, what makes you feel like you're okay with it, and any movement you make in that direction is a good movement,
Yeah.
So you just have to kind of adapt it to your life and your personality and your issues. Like I have had a big issue that I had to constantly address, which was like a sun allergy I developed from being a raw vegan. So that's big, that's not like just a little thing, or I have an itch.
For sure.
So if you just have an itch, just do whatever you can, live your life. The whole point of this is not to make this your life. The whole point of this is to live your life. Yeah. And whatever you have to do. And if you're living your best life, how they say, okay, then just, be easy about it. Do whatever feels like it's, because some people immediately, even if they're living their great life and they hear this, they're immediately like, oh, they have no sense of like, oh, I've tried everything, I don't want to do, they're just, some people just are open, and some people it's just interesting, so
Exactly.
that's a dance, right? I mean, you've had to do that too. Like, I don't talk to people about this anymore, which is like big. Now we're going public. We're talking about it.
Coming out of the nickel closet. So just on the low nickel foods, if we quickly finish up with that, then dairy, as we mentioned, is low nickel. So I'll eat a couple of ounces of cheese almost every single day for the sake of calcium, the little bit of protein that's in there. But the main thing for me is to get some calcium, because without vegetables, then I don't have a calcium source for the most part. This was also sort of shocking because eggs had been demonized in the low A in the sulfur and the high A in the sulfur problems, but a small amount of egg again will contribute some protein. And is it the white in particular is low nickel?
Yeah, and well, the white is high sulfur and the egg yolk is high A. And it's just the perfect combination to drive the A deeper into our tissues. But but
I'm talking about the nickel content.
Oh, the nickel content. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's a low nickel food. Like, so say if you're a normal person and you go and ask your doctor, say you have a nickel allergy, which is usually how this comes up in the normal world, and then they'll, so dairy and eggs will be on your list to eat. Like Dagmar just said, they have other issues, being the vitamin A. So I just get a very small amount of egg, like every 2, 3, 4 days, I'll make a batch of low nickel pancakes, and I will throw 1 egg in there. So for every 1 pancake I'm eating, I'm getting a quarter of an egg. And it takes me about 3 days to eat a whole batch of my pancakes. And it's like that. That's fine. I have no reaction to it whatsoever. So that's kind of nice, just to have that freedom a little bit. Two more foods that are big on this one: bananas being low nickel, and apples are low nickel. So 2 fruits that are in that category. So very, very short list of
and
foods.
white flour
Which you said exactly, the white flour, the white rice. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think we covered it there. The MSG is a really good one to add, just for the sake of enjoying your food more. It extends the protein. Your body makes better use of protein when you have MSG. That's why people in relatively impoverished countries that don't have as much access to good protein might use more MSG or some kind of glutamate in their food to extend that. And yeah. So, and how do you know if it's naturally refined? Well, you might have to actually contact the manufacturer. Yep. And ask them, what's your process? And at this stage of the game, I don't want to know anymore, because there's only so many things. If say we realize Jacobson's is processed in stainless steel, it probably is. Like, it probably is. You'd have to say, and the salt interacts with nickel, and so there is probably some nickel in there. But like you were saying earlier, if you go into neuroticism about it, that's its own level of illness. And there's a high cost to that, to be always afraid of your food. You can't be afraid of the thing that you're putting in your body, right? It's that. Yeah.
Well, it's the other side of being afraid, is having like no clue. You know what I mean? Like, either afraid of what you're putting in your body, or just like, whatever, it's like that it's the same thing pretty much.
It's the same. Exactly. It's different, but it's the same damage. You're exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. And ignorance is not bliss, unfortunately. Ignorance is, a lifetime of damaging yourself without realizing it, or not having any idea why. On that theme, we're going to talk about the nickel in tobacco, hard liquor, wine, and beer. Now, is this with tobacco? I know that plant is a hyperaccumulator of nickel, so it gets extra from the soil. It's pretty much cleaning the soil in a way.
Yeah.
You might want to grow on land that had tobacco growing on it.
Yeah,
occurred to me.
so you have clean soil. Yeah,
right. Yeah, if you did want some plant foods.
With marijuana, it's same thing. It loves nickel. Yeah.
Probably not a like, probably right in the mix of why you get high on cannabis is because of the nickel factor. And these days they do a lot of different things, including extracts, and they are different from the flower. So there's some kind of anyway, there's a difference there. Nickel is water soluble, so it's going to be more in the water part of the plant, not the oil part of the plant. So there's different things there. And then the hard liquor, is that because of the processing in stainless steel, or is that an inherent, like, say they found some?
It's the processing in the stainless steel, plus processing in copper. A lot of the distillations happen in copper containers.
Wow.
It goes for beer, for heavy liquor. Now tequila specifically, I think, is the one that's processed in copper too. So you're getting quite the quite the hit. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Did we mention how the whole farting thing
we're coming to that. We're coming. Yeah. I apologize. We could talk about. I can bring the farting right to the front next, if you like. But I just
It's good. It's good. Let's do the whole alcohol thing. Beer too. That nowadays, wine is not made in wooden barrels. It's made in stainless steel. So this is the modern version of alcohol. So when you're getting your alcohol, you're getting nickeled.
Right, because otherwise it would be pretty clean. It's gone through a distillation process, which removes a lot of everything from it. Like distilled water is empty. It doesn't have minerals even left in it.
But the alcohol itself, is something that you would be spending a lot of your good minerals, trying to
Processing.
process the alcohol, because that's what makes you feel. It's a poison. Alcohol is a poison, just like nickel is a poison, which is just like smoking or taking mushrooms. It's a poison, and poison, it starts to affect your brain because it goes through the blood-brain barrier then, and you feel a little daffy, which people now consider to be like an enlightened feeling. you know like or drunk. What is drunk? You're just, your brain is poisoned, so you're a little, everything relaxes, your centers, your hypervigilance, relaxes, and life is wonderful. So it's just like opium. It's like
Yeah.
everything is great suddenly. Why am I worried? The world is fine. I'm fine. It's all good. There's nothing wrong with that feeling if you earned it.
Hmm.
If you
Yeah.
can come to it. And there's nothing wrong with anything. I'm just saying that
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
a lot more. You can offer a
Yeah.
lot more to your friends from a place that you've earned something, rather
Right.
than.
Just like back to the alcohol for quickly before we go into the next subject is that it's a solvent. So its job is to dissolve things. And so
Yes.
that explains why it picks up the nickel in those vats so easily, because it's literally, dissolving into, I guess glass would be the safest kind of a container for it, which, not surprising, most alcohol is sold in glass, or it used to be. Now it's in plastic often. But yeah, that solvent nature that dissolves your boundaries, it dissolves your senses, it dissolves your discrimination. How many
Mhm.
people, use substances and then they go and they do something, especially booze, right? Like that's why the drinking and the driving is such a heinous crime these days, because people don't have their discrimination. They can't make good decisions when they're in that state. And yeah, so I just wanted to throw that in about the solvents.
Yes, as
Yeah.
our volatile organic compounds, essential oils too. They can dissolve all kinds of stuff, and people put it in there. They take lemon essence and put it in their water. It's like, doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and orange essence, which is one of those nuances. Like here we are taking orange pectin. That's what MCP is, modified citrus pectin. But it's a very refined part of that. So if you
Yeah,
just went and you ate the orange peels, you would be poisoning yourself
yeah.
and getting all of those
Yeah.
compounds.
That's important to understand, that modified citrus pectin, it has no flavor of anything, nothing citrusy about it. It's just remove that part of it, the pectin, and it has removed all the carotenoids, and it has removed the volatile organic, the oils and all that. So you're not having the same effect as eating essential oil.
Right. Yeah, because some people might come along and say, "Oh, well, I'll just eat the orange peels," or
No,
something
no,
like that. It's like,
yeah,
no, don't do
don't.
that.
Yeah,
And
don't
same
do.
with apples and the apple skin is that does contain the pectin, but it also ends up sprayed. Even our organic apples, you taught me, with organic, so-called organic, what, copper sulfate, and are there others?
Well,
You
and
know?
that thing that Bill Gates had put on, the appeal that is being put on all fruits, and the stores don't even know, they
Right,
don't
we
know.
have no labeling.
You can't ask them, and they'll be like, no, it's all organic. But yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's literally telling you to peel your apples. So
I know it's like, my grandmother would do that every day. She had an apple and she peeled it, and I always thought, oh, how quaint and how grandmotherly. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm peeling my apple every day and eating it just like my grandmother.
nice. That's sweet. Nice. I lost the context. Lisa said she's in South Dakota. South Dakota, they originated in Colorado, and they are in several other states too. What was the topic there?
What was it? The
Oh,
salt?
we asked her where she was. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then something else originated. It's funny.
I'm
I asked,
gonna
oh yeah,
try.
it's a salt. Salt.
And what?
I think it was the topic of salt. Sorry,
Yeah, I think it was the salt. I'm
there
gonna
were-
be driving through South Dakota soon.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's not that far from me. It's still far, but not that far.
Closer.
Getting closer. Exactly. We're trying. And congratulations on stopping drinking several years ago. Yeah, I just don't remember to do that. It doesn't come up in my mind at all. And rarely does the drunk driver die because they're so relaxed. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that why they don't hurt themselves sometimes? It's the ones who are innocent that usually suffer. Yeah, exactly. And it was Natural Grocers has a sign, okay, that they have no appeal on all their produce and it's all organic. Okay, well, where are you, Lisa? We need to be there in South Dakota.
Where are you? South Dakota? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Never-
I did see them in Colorado now that I think of it. How do we get them here? No one wants to come here.
Did we want to talk a little bit, just a quick note about the ammonia?
Yes, that is we can go out of order, but we had about nickel feeding bacteria, fungus, and mold.
Okay, yeah.
And but yeah, ammonias, that's a really good subject too. So how does nickel feed bacteria, fungus, and mold?
They like it. It's their favorite food.
So
they get to feast, and I think that's what the whole nickel farting is about. I think that's my theory, is that suddenly they got all this excess, then the nickel is coming out from the deep tissues in the intestines or anywhere else, and it's like, oh, and we have all bacteria in us all the time, but small amounts. So they start to reproduce because there's food. They're like, oh, we got something to eat. So they reproduce and create gas, and thus we have the grand exodus of air.
There you go. One of the things about the nickel feeding bacteria in the mouth is that that's very highly linked to caries or cavities, right? That you require the nickel in there to make a corrosive force for your enamel.
Yes, and Garrett shared a couple of papers where they showed children who got braces with stainless steel, or adults, but that they would suddenly have more cavities because of the nickel in there. Yeah,
that's exactly what happened to me. Yeah, I had a crap ton of cavities, and I had the braces. So yeah. And I had to have all that nickel removed from my mouth, which I did. And you're in Sioux Falls. Okay, we'll be right there, Lisa.
We're coming.
We're tracking you. Get you on the GPS, which doesn't work anywhere. The last 2 days, my GPS has failed miserably. So I'm going to have to start thinking again about traveling. And all right, ammonia production. So this is a big aspect.
Yeah, so it's because nickel breaks down urease, which then becomes ammonia. So you got ammonia, which I guess we need the ammonia. The ammonia is very alkaline. So trying to alkalinize the acids, but then we have the problem of the ammonia, which is no bueno. And so there's a couple of things that we can do I can feel when my ammonia goes up pretty quickly. Usually my temperature goes up too. Or I'll have like a hot flash. And what I found really helpful for that, first of all, if at this point I'm eating really low nickel, but if I was eating nickel, my solution would be to lower eating the nickel. But since now I know it's not because I'm eating high nickel, it's because it's coming out of my tissues. So then I will, this was Kelsey's, the queen of chemistry's advice, which is just take a little bit of xylitol, but birch, a true, not corn derived from China, but birch tree organic xylitol. and
Non-GMO. Yeah.
non-GMO, and it really helps to transmute the ammonia.
Right. Yeah, I tried some last night because that's been one of the problems I was having for the last couple of weeks with the nickel detox is like regular sweats through the night and
Yeah, I
waking
mean,
up every time and being wet and it's like, okay, go back to sleep again. And so I took just a quarter teaspoon before bed, trying it again. There came a time where it didn't work, and I think that's where I was before. It was pre knowledge of nickel,
mhm,
and it stopped working for me. So I thought, don't keep taking something that wasn't working.
mhm.
And so I'm going back to it now. I'm going to try twice as much tonight and see if I can just have like one entire. I still have been going 6 hours in a row without a wake up, which is like amazing
Wow, yeah.
all by itself. Yeah. Yeah. So the ammonia is a thing, and that xylitol will help you with it, possibly. You can certainly try it. Doesn't work for, I think, everybody. Nothing does.
Well, and the xylitol, you can't go. I was using xylitol before this whole thing, but I would use it. I would just put a little bit after brushing my teeth. I would put a little bit in my mouth, and that was just like a great because it nourishes some of the bacteria that you need to keep the cavities out and to just keep it balanced. So um, it's you can't go wrong with that. Or you can put it in your mouth and spit it out if you want. Uh,
Right. Right. Yeah, I choose xylitol gum. I bet there's some reason I shouldn't do that, but
Well, it's good to for your jaw to keep your jaw moving, you know.
mhm, mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's I was so against xylitol before, just like I was against zeolite, until I never really did the research. I just went by what people said, like, oh, xylitol, it's all fake. But our body makes xylitol. I mean,
Right,
our body
exactly.
makes a lot of things, including glutamate, so I now understand that, and it's been even way, like, more effective since I've lowered the nickel in terms of,
Perfect.
the hot flashes if they show, and I haven't had those for a long time, so I know that it's nothing to do and even now going back in memory, the hot flashes that I did have, it wasn't hot flashes. It was my body heating up, speeding because heat speeds up chemical processes.
Right.
So when you heat up, and if you're having a bile dump and your blood is full of bile with whatever is in that bile, then the heat will speed it up. It's chemistry, and as things leave your body, they do transform slowly, sometimes into even more toxic compounds, but that's how they got to get out. They don't just magically neutralize and disappear. They got to go out through your skin. Well, hopefully not, but through your intestines, your kidneys, or your skin is the last resort. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. In a big sweat, that's why people do saunas. They'll go sit in the sauna so your body's and in a way, saunas, I don't really like saunas. I bought myself a sauna blanket and I used it 3 times and I haven't gone back to it. And it's partly because of I have to be in there too long
To get a sweat.
to get a sweat, to get the benefit of it, and then I'll have a bile dump instead of a good sweat.
Well, but I just think you have to know yourself, because for some people, a sauna because the heat, you're speeding up, processing of the chemistry, especially the toxins. So, it will always mean a bile dump. And some people think that that's great, but I'm like, you don't want to necessarily put your body through that every day.
Right.
You
Right.
wanna you
Exactly.
wanna do as gentle as possible. Like, I don't try to push any bile dumping. I'm
No.
not pushing any detox. If anything, I'm more like driving the car a little slower, going, "Okay, what can I do to slow this down?" To make it pleasant so you don't have these associations of, like, I try to make it as pleasant as possible, or not pleasant, but just not, harsh and shocking.
And traumatic.
And
Exactly.
traumatic. Yeah, that I have
Exactly.
this association. I don't need to go and show off to you and be like, "Hey, Beth, you know what? This thing came out of my ear.
Yeah, exactly.
It
I know
was
that.
it was terrible."
Yeah, competitive detoxing is like, "Oh, good.
Competitive
You guys go." Yeah, yeah. You horses run, no problem. I'll be the tortoise on that race. No
Yeah,
problem. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think you nailed it. It's just because if you start to associate detoxing with constant sickness, you will be traumatized by that. And
yeah,
it's going to interact again, the emotional and the physical, you're interloping the processes, and the body's going to like seize every time you go into some there will be no way to relax and surrender into it. That
mhm.
is the ultimate. So yeah, yeah, very good.
It's it's just so interesting. I'm sorry, I just keep
Go
thinking
ahead.
of new things. That in normal life, we don't nobody associates any illness with anything that's it's like, oh, now I'm having a major, major cold, and oh my God, I'm coughing and spitting things out, and I need an antibiotic or whatever. But nobody, like in this world that we're kind of dancing in, when those things do come up, it's not like, oh my God, it's more like, oh, something's moving through now. How can I assist myself? But there isn't that distinction between now I'm fine and now I'm really sick. Like the sick thing is so, the label of that, there's no bridge, between our body acting sick and between our body being well. Like they're actually, it's the same system is in place, which is that
Right.
your body is doing the best that it can to get you to be able to die slower and
Yeah,
be happy and function in life.
right.
So
Right,
sorry.
exactly. Because we have a purpose, and that's very important, and that's the body's job, is to preserve ultimately preserve our chance for that purpose. So, yeah, nice. I like that. All right. Well, we have come to your favorite part. Yeah. All right, give us some sound effects.
Here we go.
Oh, good one. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
try to get the ones that are like, no, I can't get the ones that feel like,
Well, that's the funny part. If we just go into this now, this is not my subject. I'm out of the comfort zone, just so you know. So Dagmar's going to have more fun with this than I am. But that was the first thing that started to happen. Is that because I don't have, like I say, I lived with my son's dad for a time. I never heard him fart, not once. And I finally said, like, don't you ever fart? He goes, yes, but I know how to do it silently. Right? Like, and women learn that too, not to make any sounds, but with the nickel farting, you won't get around it. This is just like there's some other force starts to take over. I had a friend of mine say, I hope they don't mind me quoting it, but they like literally woke their partner up in the middle of the night with this like, long, right? Like there's just it just is what it is. You're constipated, your whole system is tight. And
yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be we're getting some laughs here.
This
There's
is
gonna
a
be
this is I look at the nickel farting as a very proud way to toot your own horn.
funny. There you go.
You
All
know,
right.
I don't see it as like, oh, this is so bad. What's going to happen to me? Is this going to be me for the rest of my life? No, I know it's not.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It can be terrifying for a woman to make a sound. I used to be a yoga teacher, and there was one class where I went upside down and I was showing everybody how to do that. And then I let one rip without being able to contain it. And then I said to them, I charge extra for sound effects. And I thought they were all going to laugh, but they all did not laugh. They didn't think it
What?
was funny. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What
So I
is
had the wrong
wrong with
group.
the world? I don't get it. How could you not laugh? I guess.
I know. Yeah, yeah. I
Well,
think, yeah,
I used
Jackie, where you better out than in. Any out is a good out. And this was
well,
yeah, this was a little comment about the farting, the art of farting. Yeah, he says.
I actually wrote a whole short story and the treatise. I have a whole treatise on farting and art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. Just quickly, I was gonna say, before I lose that thought, that what was that thought now? Was
um, uh, see how it completely
oh
discombobulates.
man. Okay, that'll come back to me. Better out than in. That's it.
Yeah.
That when relates back to my work, that when you're releasing programs, specifically that tells you you're going to die. You're not going to survive. You need to want for safety. You need to fear for your safety. And then very common symptoms of releasing that program are a burp, a fart, some kind of, I will feel like a tectonic shift in my gut. It will rearrange. And so this is related to this whole process that maybe
Mhm.
isn't nearly as fun as what you guys are talking about here.
Artsy. Funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Artsy.
yeah,
Anyway, I just had to get that in because that's related to my world there. So yeah, that the out, there's something about that is the divine process, right? Like, because we're all about the in and the
yeah.
suppressing and just
And
holding everything.
it's like, the normal out is, like we speak, that's a normal acceptable out. But every person who speaks also sits on the toilet, hopefully once a day, or twice, even better. Like I mean, it is like a different kind of a speech, but it's there's something that does need to be expressed. I mean, I know this sounds really terrible, but some people who would tell me that they're just not creative or something, I go, well, every day you create some shit, don't you? And there it is. That's
There,
your fertilizer for everything.
exactly.
Just look at it like it's a creative process. Like, don't lose touch with it. This whole thing, I think the fact that we have toilets and flushing and all that, we have so departed from the cycle of our everyday life, because we put it in there and then it's get flushed and it goes away somewhere. Somebody else, something else deals with it. Some poor fish somewhere in the ocean is like, oh, what was this human being eating? So just to connect with that, I think to bring attention, that this middle part of our body isn't just some magical disappearing act where you can put anything into it and then voila, it's like what we put into it is what we are built from, and then what we don't need, and what we put into it that may not be good for us or what we don't need or as part of processing goes out.
That's how life works on Earth. Exactly. Yeah.
You
Every single organism has its means for
Yeah,
all of
and
that.
so
So yeah.
we have such an elegant way of like somehow, from neck to down to our, I'm pointing at my crotch, that it's like, oh, this little mystery zone thing that happens there. And then it just comes out and then you flush it. Ooh, bad,
Well, again,
So,
all the emotional interloping with otherwise what is just a very matter-of-fact process. Nobody even has to, really say anything about it. But because it's been one of those, people have shame. There are women that end up with all kinds of digestive issues because they won't use a public washroom. They
yeah.
can't even go behind a closed door in a designated place. They have to be at home in their safe place. I mean, there are people that their bowel won't move until they're at home.
Mhm.
Like there have been times where I get home from a trip and the first thing my body's like, oh, time to poop. And why did I not get that signal on the whole trip? Because partly it's inconvenient and your body really does know you need to relax. It's similar
Mhm.
to having a baby, that if you're not in a safe place, because an animal is vulnerable in that time, right? Like
Mhm.
you're kind of tied up
Mhm.
for however long that can take. And so there's an instinctual kind of need for some privacy too, right? It's not something that, like, good luck with the woman having a baby in a room full of people. That's why it doesn't work for the most part.
Mhm.
She needs her privacy. Same with, and even a little toddler, they need their privacy. You
Mhm.
can't sit and look at them
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
expect them to have relax and have a nice poop. It's just not going to
Well,
happen. So,
maybe poop is like prayer. It's a time to be with your whole self, like
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a completion process. So you acknowledge that things are moving through you, that you are a changing being, and that there's all kinds of magical stuff going on 24/7 that you don't have to be in charge in, and that you're not necessarily in control of. It's just like that moment. We need bile so that it can, when it touches your intestines, you get the desire to poop. So it's like bile is the most toxic substance in our body, and it is the only substance that can actually harm and destroy the very organ that makes it, right? It's powerful stuff, right? But we need it. So
Yeah.
it's part of us, and we want to have it be not as toxic. And that's not that hard to do, just by not taking in any more of the poisons that we are now aware of are. So
Right. Right. Or at least reducing to the degree that
reduce,
you
yeah,
need. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
not stop or remove, but just reduce
Hmm.
what we have the power to do. Because a lot of people say, oh, the whole world is poison, everything is, I can't, like it's everywhere. I'm like, yeah, but there are places where you do have some power and some ability to choose, so why not, just for the fun of it?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And Quietly Content Bear likes your poop is like prayer. She's going to run with that. Now we're going to hear it everywhere. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, how about let's talk about neurotransmitters.
I think we already did.
Did you?
Yeah, we talked about it. We already said that basically it depletes them. It depletes the neurotransmitters and the happy hormones and all that.
Okay. That's what you were referring to in that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
All right.
dopamine and all of that. Yeah, and
Okay.
MSG is helpful in that, to
Yeah.
rebuild the nervous system and all that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I
we
didn't know.
covered that.
All right. What about the connection between nickel and body fat?
Well, it seems like it's the same thing as like with the other poisons. Is that in order to, especially around the viscera, in order to have a place to store the poisons, if we keep taking them in, the body needs to build more suitcases of fat to store them in, and that's why some people, just no matter how hard they exercise, and even if they're skinny, they may still have a thick mass around their middle.
Yep.
So I think that any poison will have that effect. And in a way, fatter people are better off in a way, because they're just kicking the can down the road further. But the fat does help to store things further away from the major organs. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which are skinny undertypes, like myself, don't have that buffer, if you want to call it that. And then they store in primarily. What are the primary nickel storage sites? Is going to be
Intestines and skin.
intestines, the skin, and the kidneys too. Because or do you not?
Probably, the kidneys not for storing, but they can get the most damage.
The damage from
Yeah,
that was one of the first thing that Garrett talked about, that the kidneys are the primary means of releasing, like say in a natural context where we had not so much that overloaded us, and our bodies would just naturally pass it through the urine.
Yeah,
so that makes sense, but not storage. Okay, good to know. And then we talked about quantity and body size. So like the amount in that that comes in matters. If you've got more going out than you've got going in, you're going to be detoxing. You're going to have symptoms. This was something that was remarkable. We probably talked about it last time, but people could take out the smallest things. Like the last thing that I reduced was I changed my shower filter to a low or zero nickel kind of shower filter. And that's when I started to have dramatic dumps. You removed the wires from your bra and had dramatic dumps. People have like literally stopped eating oatmeal and had dramatic dumps. When I changed my cookware, that was a big, massive shift in just taking those things out. So this is, I think, one of the beauties of the nickel detox, the focus, is that it's so fast. It's trying well, it's not trying, that would be personifying, but your body is so quick to get rid of it, given again it's water soluble, so right, it's not fat soluble. That's going to like that's why I'm wondering about the fat thing. It is connected to obesity. I've heard now the research on that, but does nickel actually store in the fat because it's not fat soluble?
Mm, interesting. Well, let's ask Garrett at the next office hours.
One of the many times a week that we see him.
Yeah, because I'm sure if he doesn't know the answer, he'll be like he'll grab on and he'll know the answer. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just so glad that he's doing all that research. God, it's so it's so exhausting. I don't know how he manages to keep going, every week and
Passion and
just
purpose.
damn.
That's how. Passion and
Yeah,
purpose.
passion and purpose.
Yeah, 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 that's how
Mhm,
it drives.
mhm.
And that's the thing about the whole grains, because all of the oils are in no, actually, that wouldn't work in my theory. Never mind. I won't say anything. Doesn't work for my theory. Anyway, never mind. And so I put a trick question in there. How long does it take to detox enough nickel to notice improvements? And this is a
Mm,
trick question. It's one that no one can really answer. Uh, Garrett and everybody would be shocked, or were shocked, at how dramatic this was going to be. Because when you go into the more mainstream nickel allergy people doing their detox in 2 to 4 weeks, like, give me a break, right? It's come on, 2 to 4 weeks. Like, I'll feel lucky if I get away with 90 days. That
mhm, mhm.
and then, even then, I'm not going to go back to a high nickel diet. I'm just not, having seen suffered the effects of it. How could you even
Yeah,
do that?
I think if I think of my eating history and my very healthy eating, oh my gosh, I was just like nickeling up nonstop with all the nuts that I ate. And even when I wasn't a raw vegan, just unbelievable when I think about, you know, that I'm still here.
Yeah, I know,
Well,
it
it's
is a
not
miracle.
unbelievable. It's the way we are designed. It's how that's the beauty, that's the amazing thing of how much we can endure, and how much our body is a freaking genius at storing things, in different places for every person, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, we can't even begin to comprehend the instinctive center. Like, it just, what what is that? And there's a lot of trying to figure it out and trying to think that we know. And while I love the biochemistry, it's still never going to be the whole picture of everything, right? The way they talk about it and zero in on, this paper is about nickel and obesity, and then they correlate, and it gives that illusion, what you're talking about, that one thing causes one thing,
Mhm, mhm.
and the body's not like that. So yeah. So how? Mhm.
Oh, I was just going to say, and we haven't even touched on the concept of that we are some kind of magicians, basically, and then we haven't even touched on that part of like how much of this is inside our wheelhouse of skills, and I feel that the more you lower some of these poisons, the more access you have to your whole instrument, how we
Right.
work from the three levels that you were talking about. It just seems like there's an easier, it's sort of like the corpus callosum, like the doors between each of these centers is more, you can walk through it. It's not like you can't see it or it's closed.
Exactly.
So it's sort of like putting together pieces that have been floating around almost. um, and I think that deep inside, if there is such a thing as a major psyop, it would be to make us not not take ownership of the fact that we are magicians, not like abracadabra, rabbit out of the hat, but like transformational creatures, that we are here to experience so many, that we have the capacity, to transform ourselves and our realities, and to create something new, whatever, however you interpret that. So,
Nice. Nice. I love that. And Jackie K is here telling everyone to like this video. That would be awesome. If you haven't subscribed, that would also be awesome if you want to do that. And yeah, I keep getting, I think it went 3 months and my subs went up 10. 10. I know. Yeah. Yeah. So whatever is happening with it, I just have to keep answering the call to do this. It doesn't go away. I don't stop enjoying it. I've loved every minute of the talk that we've had today on this subject and all the other subjects that I cover. I'm just going to keep going. I thank you guys for being here. It's been awesome. We're getting some nice thumbs up in the chat as well. So that's say the last topic that I had on the agenda, if you want to call it that, is how to decide to do a low nickel diet or not, because we didn't know better. Right? Like if you could now look back and see, oh, this happened to this person and that person, and have a crystal ball to know what you were in for, I don't know that I would have chosen this. But I'm glad this long into it. I'm very glad that I did it. Hugely glad. And isn't life often like that, where if you had known, you wouldn't have done it? How hard it was going to be? Or
I guess I would do it even knowing how hard it was going to be. Like when I look back on some very challenging past relationships and I ask myself, would I do it again? My answer is always yes. Yes, I would. I would, because I wouldn't be who I am, and I know that everything that I've struggled through has liberated more just the truth, or my truth, or my sense of my essence. And
right.
so I think this journey is, I think it's a really time well spent.
Right. But at the same time, I can't promote it. I can't go and tell somebody you should do a low nickel diet, and then they feel like garbage for 6 to 12 weeks. And, like it's not, and I have the luxury of being in control of my schedule. So if a day comes where I can't put 2 sentences together, I just have to, back out of some of the work that I would do. I have that freedom, but not everybody has downtime.
Yeah.
The luxury of that with like young children or very busy something, the responsibilities. And so, there were people that said from the very beginning, it's like, well, I don't have nickel detox, or pardon me, I don't have nickel symptoms. I don't have skin issues. I don't have lung issues. I don't have gut issues. And that I thought I didn't either. I would have said, oh yeah, but because it was another possibility, I'm more like you. I'm like, okay, let's bring it on, and let's go to the end of the line, whatever the line actually is. But so it's a big decision, right? That watching what everybody's going through and knowing that you might also bump into some hellish times. Then how would someone know whether it's the right time or not? Here's one thought off the top, is that you get to a point where you can't ignore it. Like and especially when you're not 25 anymore, or you're not even 35, and you're not even 45 anymore. And we don't have the luxury of that, system that hasn't accumulated for an entire lifetime. For me, it's a no-brainer. I can't not. And I've seen I've had enough breakdowns in the past where I know that I have to go the distance with this stuff. My parents died young, right? Like there's some things that for me, it's an easy decision, but for someone else, it's like,
I would say that this is not promotable.
Right. Exactly.
But here's the thing, like if I was 45 or 55, I would still be kind of going like, oh, whatever. And so I see that the only kind of dignified thing that I can do is continue doing this because of what I'm experiencing. And if anybody's ever open, they will see me as an example. So my feeling is, if not when, let's say when I'm 80 and I'm still vibrant and fun and dancing and doing all the things, right? Then I'll be like, okay, bitches. but until then, I'm not there yet. So I feel until then, the best that I can do is just live, and if people will notice, or they won't. But if they do, I love being there for people. And I also am learning. This is the hardest part about this journey for me, or anyone who goes on it. The most challenging part of it is not the diet change. The most challenging part of it is how to not share it, how to, and then to know who to share it with, and how to be loving about it, so that people don't feel like, oh my God, if I don't do this, I'm going, like how to share it in such a way that it truly is just me sharing my experience and my vitality, and and just being okay with people having their journey. I mean, it sounds so rudimentary and basic, but that's what I always keep coming up against, because I love so many people. I love people. I love, the people who are in my life. And so, you would just want to go, oh, but just, you could do this little, and oh, that's so, you don't have to go to the hospital for that. Or you don't have to, go to a holistic practitioner and pay, $500 every week or whatever, or you don't have to get that supplement. But then I'm not really being full and true and relaxed in life. And so that's a part of it for me, is that I'm here to live. I'm not here to preach, and I'm here to have an experience. I'm not here to fix everybody, though that urge to save is so huge, as we talked about, I think last week, the desire, that it's just a natural desire. And yeah, it could be coming from all kinds of things, but I think it's something organic in all human beings, that when we see or sense that someone is suffering, or somebody actually shows that they are, that we want to help, we want to just be there. And it's a beautiful thing when that is received and somebody then takes it and makes it their own.
Right.
I don't want to be anybody's mother, running after them and going like, did you do your thing? What are you doing now? Did you have your water? Did you, did you take your niacin? Oh no, don't eat that. That's going to kill you.
Right. Exactly.
So
Yeah. Yeah. There's a fine line.
yeah, it's a fine line. And that's the real challenge for anybody. Like you were saying, who is this for? If you're the kind of person who
Save and serve.
is willing to live inside this kind of paradox. Oh, this is a calculation that I did. I assumed that maybe 6,000 people in the world are kind of aware of some of this stuff, and I actually might be doing it. And so then I calculated, if there's 8 billion people in the world, then we are in the 0.000265%. So this is never going to be popular. It's not sellable.
Yeah,
But
it's another narrow path for sure. And there's a big difference between save and serve. And that's something that everybody has to find the internal motivation, because you can tell people, I will still tell people, somebody asked me today, I need to learn more about low nickel. And so I'm going to share, right? I'm
yeah.
not going to hold back, but neither would I chase them, but neither would I withhold when they put a fantastic list of things to avoid, including vitamin A, vitamin D, and colorful vegetables. I'm like, oh, okay, they're like they're onto something here. And so I took a chance and I put this stream in their thing, and like right away they responded, hey, we need to talk. I want to talk to you. And so, it's because there's a lot, actually a lot of people have come to love your liver through my channels. I hear it all the time. I found Garrett through you. And, so there's that, you have to know your own internal kind of thing. And then, like you're saying, be surrendered if somebody doesn't glom onto it, or they don't stay glommed onto it. Because I've had people get all excited and then they back away when they realize it's somehow unworkable, or they've deemed it unworkable. So it is definitely a narrow path. And on that theme, I wanted to start to close out the stream, because I need to get going. We're a couple of hours in now, and this has been fantastic. So thank you so much. And wanted to make sure and let people know that there is a workshop series with Micah Ellers, who happens to be, or at least was, in the chat before. So thank you for Oh, my clicker's not working for some reason. There he is. And so him and I are putting on an 8 workshop series that's coming up starting July 9th. And it is about the narrow path, that there's not a lot of people that you could even attract with this, but yet I'm going to talk about it anyway. I'm going to share about it. We did a number of videos that I think you caught, Dagmar, leading up on the topic, and giving some of the background and talking about Gurdjieff's work and the way that we tend to operate through false personalities or unconscious mechanisms that are just on automation and don't have the ability to make new choices for the moments that they're in, being on autoplay. I call it programming. Gurdjieff called it false personalities. And what we're going to do with this series is to enact the false personalities through, and not in a cathartic way, not in a like a family constellation, play your dad now way kind of way, although stuff like that might come up at times. But the whole purpose of it is to be able to embody the 8 archetypes of the hero's journey one at a time, enough so you can see, what are my dynamics that play out through the child? What are my dynamics that play out through the rebel, the warrior, the nurturer, the lover, the hedonist, the king, and the alchemist? And find those parts in yourself that naturally come out in an improvised way, where there's no script, there's no plan, there's no rules. There will be Mike is really good at giving guidelines for those, how that scene work is going to take place. And then with the tools of deprogramming, people can go in and actually take out and accelerate. It's kind of like an accelerated nickel detox that the tools are right there. The coaching is going to be available. And I'm announcing a new bonus that's going to be really helpful for people. So stay tuned. If you're not already connected with us, you can get anywhere on my email list on my website by signing up for an archetype quiz. The King Hero Archetype Quiz is there. Or you can message me or smoke signal me or message in a bottle, or all those kind of things I always end up saying for some reason. And so if anybody's interested to jump on before the series starts, and what are we at? 6 days now. I cannot believe it. So I'm going to just grab a quick link for this and let you guys know how, just in case you haven't already seen the details. All right, so here it is in the chat. It is also below in the notes. So if you're catching this more as a recording, you can check this out. We've got a really beautiful group already having started to gather. Some special souls, the braver souls. Some of them are here with us, so we're happy to have you on board. And thank you to Micah for bringing this work my way. It would have been very difficult for me to innovate it, and I would have done it like a little baby sucking my thumb rather than him coming in as a professional already with all that experience doing this in the acting world and now doing it for the purpose of freedom. So that's really exciting for me and the people that are joining us. So any closing words before we play our outro?
My closing word, yes. Wait.
You have one for us? I know what it is. There it is. I knew it. Can you say that in French?
No, I'll say it in Czech. Wait. Why do you know, it's like performance anxiety. That's my closing word for the day.
Well, you totally delivered on this one, Dagmar. Sound effects and all. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. You always have knowledge that I didn't have, and it's been really, really helpful for me to have you as a friend during this journey, because there are some times where I feel lost like a child and like what's happening to me, and I always get insight talking to you. So yeah,
Same
thank you.
here. I just appreciate the space of just having the conversation, you know, it's and your openness, and I always come up with new things when we talk. So yeah.
There you go. Yeah, the companionship means a lot, and that is also why in the House of Free Will I host the Love Your Liver study group, so that we can be in conversations and talk about, like, just go and celebrate that I found the last two pieces of my glassware, two skillets, a small one that I'm going to use every 10 seconds to warm up food, and a medium one and a big one. And yesterday I made a bunch of beef stew. I could do it all at the same time. I didn't have to wait because I only had the one pan. And, just little things, little ways to celebrate, like celebrating farting and celebrating pans. It's almost the same.
Yes.
There you go. All right, my dears, have a beautiful rest of your day. We'll see you back Monday with Ben from Cambridge and Tuesday with Will Keller. And I think that's all for now, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Lots of love. Bye. Whoops. There we go.
Almighty true guide, Lord and supporter of all, forever free from identity. Be well, I'm dwelling in you. Be well, I am dwelling in you. Drashtanumanta Shivarta Gupta Maheshwara Paramatme Dijapi Yokto Deyasmin Purusha